Day.
Yes.
How are we celebrating as a country here in Ghana?
Okay, World Population Day is a worldwide program, and it's celebrated every 11th July. It started from the 1989,
Right.
and tomorrow we have an hours at the Teachers Hall at 10 a.m. And this we are celebrating it with a colloquium. So we have students coming around, young people coming around to celebrate the day with us. Okay. It's because the focus of this year is on the youth.
Okay.
So that's why we have the youth this time, targeting them.
Okay.
And the theme for our celebration from day to day concerning the population. So it can be maternal health, it can be gender, it can be education, what have you, so far as it's about the people. And so that's why we celebrate the day.
Okay. The body, National Population Council here in Ghana.
Yes.
What is it about? What do you stand for? What do you do? What is your main aim and objectives?
Okay. The National Population Council is at the Office of President. It's a secretariat which is governed by a council. And it is established to coordinate all population activities in the country. And it's supposed to also advise government on population issues. So whatever is coming up that there's a need for attention and needs to be addressed, the Population Council is there to advise the government as to what it's supposed
Anything
to
to do with the general population?
Yes, the general population. And population issues vary. Sometimes we just restrict to the counting of numbers.
What else do you do? What is your mandate?
Our mandate is look at the numbers. What is the implication of the numbers and to development? So it can be environment, it can be settlement, it can be maternal health, family planning, what have you, issues about the youth, because they are the future for the country. So what are the numbers, how is the number affecting development? So we look at that vis-a-vis.
Do you look at issues of maybe sanitation and how it relates to the population, rural, urban migration and all of that?
Those are the issues. You know, there are three components of population growth. And when you talk about that, we're talking about fertility, how we reproduce, the death, mortality, as well as migration. So those are the key issues that affect population growth. So those are issues of concern. And so we look at how these issues is affecting a country in order to develop. Yes.
What has been the biggest achievement of the council?
The biggest achievement, I'll say, we have the National Population Policy, and we targeted to achieve reduced fertility, because looking at the rate that our population was growing vis-a-vis the level how we're developing, we realized that it was too fast, and so we had to put in measures. The government has to put in measures in order to reduce the growth of the population. As such, we have a total fertility of 4.0 at the last Ghana Demographic and Health Survey, and our target in the population policy was to achieve 4.0 in 2010. So in 2008 we had achieved the 4.0. So that is a key achievement, yes, that as a country. And it's good we have high knowledge of let's say contraception, family planning and all that. There's a little to do with the uptake that we are stuck with. Yes, the uptake is going up, but yes, still there's a little more to do. But at least we know people are aware of family planning. They are aware of certain things that goes on around them that they need to.
So you do a bit of education and sensitization as well?
Well, as I said, it's a coordination body. So National Population Council, in short, is NPC. Yes, NPC is not really an implementing agency. It's supposed to coordinate the activities of the implementing agencies, either the government, the private sector, NGOs, or whatever. So we set the aim or the objective and the strategies with the partners as to how we should go as a country. And then based on that, we coordinate their activities to make sure that what we expect is done. So we have the various players, the Ghana Health Service, you have the NGOs, you have the Ministry of Gender, Environment, all the other ministries as well as the private sector, all helping to achieve that.
Okay. In which other areas have you chalked success?
Mainly It's about CPR. Currently, we have also an increase in our CPR. That is the contraceptive prevalence rate as a country went down. So when we look at 2008, for instance, we're at 7% for modern methods of contraception. Currently, as at 2011, according to the multiple indicators survey, we are at 24%.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing because people have to plan their families, and if they are not using the right things to plan the family, then you have issues. So if you've gotten people increasingly using contraception in order to limit your family, then it is an achievement as a country, because you don't need to let the population override the rate at which you develop.
What is your target?
For the CP.
You said it started from 7% in 2010, I believe you said.
No,
and now it's at 24%.
No, 2008. It was 17%.
Okay, and in 2014
we are at 24%.
So where are you hoping to?
We're hoping at least to get to 50% in 2020.
In 2020?
Yes.
Okay, you think you get there?
We're trying all means to, and that's why you have also trying to get the family planning on the NHIS, so that at least people would be able to access it. Those who really want to and cannot afford it are able to access that, and then to help achieve that target.
What has been some of the challenges for the council as well?
Well, the challenges, there are so many players in the population area, and so sometimes you don't get some of the players, you don't really get to know what they are doing. We're trying our best to coordinate all that they are doing in order to have one goal as a country. Luckily, when you look at what people are doing, it's in line with the policies that we have as a country, and so they are doing that. But you still have people going off sometimes, and also resources in order to do some of the work that you're supposed to do. Sometimes it's also a challenge.
Okay. Yeah. How does your outfit deal with the issue of rural-urban drift?
We're working with the various institutions responsible, the assemblies, the district assemblies, the sectors, and then we meet with them. We try to let them understand the essence of integrating population in development. So every district has a plan that it implements. Every sector has a plan that it implements, and so we have a manual, a model that we advise them on, we educate them on in order to use, so that when they plan for the people, so that if you see that this area you have people moving towards the other side, then what are we supposed to do in our planning in order to maintain people in that area and not to allow that to drift? Of course,
how do you do that?
By collaborating with the various institutions. As I said, we are not an implementing agency, but we are coordinating agency.
And have you seen some change or some effects to what you're doing so far?
Well, there's very little in terms of migration. Because everybody would like to move towards where the resources are, their facilities and all. But with time, it takes time in order to achieve some of these things. So with time, we hope that.
So with your collaboration with these other agencies and institutions, do you also look to bringing these facilities to the people there so that they don't have the urge to drift towards the urban areas?
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing, and that is where the planning takes place. And so it's the planning in that area for that medium term. It's supposed to cater for all those things. So they include that in their planning in the way towards it. But as you know, that the resources are always limited. So the rate at which the population is also growing is most of the time also overtaking us. But with time, we hope to achieve all that. And that is why we're focusing even on the young people this year for the World Population Day, because they are a section of the population that are very important to us. In Ghana, when we take the young people between 10 and 25 years, we have about 32% of our population constituting that proportion of the component of the population. And so with that, you cannot plan without them. They are very important, and the rate at which they are growing, because you know that we have the reproductive age within that's where reproduction starts. So if you have a chunk of your population in that area, then you need to focus on them in order to limit whatever you want to limit or improve the situation of the country. And so there's so many things about them that needs to be catered for: the education, their health, the gender issues, because gender worries us a lot as a country and as a developing country. There are issues about drugs, HIV, so many things that we have to focus on the young people to achieve. And so that's why we said they are our future and our heritage, because depending on how you manage them, you nurture them, educate them, then you will have the full potential of them to develop the country.
Okay. What is the population of Ghana presently?
As at 2010, we were at 24 million, and currently we are growing at a rate of 2.5 annually. So that brings us to about 27 thereabout.
27 million.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Let's talk about the issue of slums.
Okay.
And that will be my final question. How do you manage the issue of slums?
Slum is it's a delicate issue, actually, and you cannot rush to tackle it. So you really need serious strategies in order to do that.
So what strategies have you put in place?
The strategies are mainly put in place by the agencies that are strictly responsible for the that section of the population. And so you see that they try to, let's say, move people, but in trying to move them, we also need to get wherever we're trying to move them to, the people need to be settled well in order to also go on with their economic work and everything that they want to do, social and everything. And so it's a very delicate issue as a country that we're dealing with, and I believe the institution responsible has the best way of dealing with it.
So that is not under your mandate. That is not an issue that you deal with.
It's an issue we deal with, but as I said, there are institutions that are specifically responsible for dealing with that issue. We advise at our level, but not to go to the lowest level to fiscally deal with the issue.
All right. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Joyce Ami Amedo is from the National Population Council, and they are celebrating World Population Day tomorrow under the theme
Investing in Young People, Our Future, Our Heritage.
Okay.